when I was 12 years old, my dad got me an autograph from Jay Leno. He said, my daughter wants to be an actress, will you sign this for her? And he wrote me a note. He said, dear Kerri, come to LA, we'll work together, love Jay. I had no idea that I would end up at Jay Leno's door 15 years later. Now yes, I had to audition, but maybe there were some specific things I did to get on that show. It sort of involved some barbecue sauce. My father, God bless him, down in Georgia, he worked in human resources, and he found value in reaching out to people. Now he got a list, I don't know where he got it, of the top casting directors in Hollywood. He wrote them handwritten letters from Georgia and said, would you please give my daughter a chance? This is her picture, this is her resume, and by the way, I'm Italian, I like to bribe people, here's some barbecue sauce. Crazy, right? Yes, this was before 9/11. I got calls from presidents of Hollywood studios. I got calls from casting directors. They want to know if I was real. They're like, is this punked? Is this really happening? But they were so touched, and it reminded them of their own family and that my father would do something like that for me. And it really taught me a major lesson in life. There's never a bad time for a kind gesture. I got meetings my friends would only kill for. So I ended up doing the Tonight Show, and I remember I had this moment where I walked in and I was in my dressing room and there was my name. And when I came to Hollywood, I prayed. I said, God, I want to win an Academy Award and marry Matt Damon. That's all I want from you. If you give me those two things, I will say your name. I'll be like out of the closet for you. And he was like, thank you, Kerri, for that generous offer. And I looked at my dressing room, and in the dressing room next door was Matt Damon. Name it and claim it, girls. You gotta be specific. He was right there, and I'll never forget that day, because that's the day I got my first restraining order. And because Matt had not been hearing from the Lord the way I had. And that's how I started my prison ministry. And but my dad wrote Scott Atwell, the casting director, a note. He said, thanks for giving my daughter a chance. And that same casting director cast me 28 more times on that show. And it's been an amazing journey. It's not been quick or fast. I've been in Hollywood 20 years. And once I started working in comedy, there was bigger opportunities. There was this DVD. It was the biggest DVD coming out for clean comedy. I was one of the first people asked to be on it. And then at the very end, I found out they'd offered me, for me in my 20s, it was a lot of money. I was barely making rent. And I found out they were paying the guys more than they were paying the girls. And the other girls on the DVD are like, we don't want to ruffle any feathers. I've never been really good at not ruffling feathers. And I remember boarding a plane to Phoenix to go to a comedy show and thinking, how am I going to sell out just a little bit and remember this moment? So I quit. They didn't offer me more money. They didn't fight. They said, fine. I quit. And I had no idea where my next paycheck was coming from. I had no idea how I was going to make money. I had no day job. And I sat in my hotel room that night, and I was bawling my eyes out because there were $1 bills and quarters and $5 bills because I had sold every CD, every DVD that I brought to that show. And I remember thinking, money is not going to drive me. I'm going to drive myself to doing what I feel called to do in this life, and the money will come. And it has never not been that way. I've never had a straight, narrow path where I had a paycheck every Friday, but I've had a really good exercise in trust and belief that I'm on the right path. And when you're on the right path, you can feel it, because there's going to be open doors. There's going to be people that are going to come to you. And the thing that we need to be careful about is just because somebody dangles a carrot does not mean we have to eat it. I had one of the biggest managers in all of clean comedy wanting to manage me, but I remember thinking, something doesn't feel right about this. He was promising me lots of money and all these big favors, but I looked at the other comics he was managing, and if you're looking at joining a new organization or a new company, look who already works there and say, is that an organization I want to be a part of? And I had to breathe. When we have decisions in life, it's important to take a moment to breathe and think about it. I thought about what he was offering me, but I thought about what he represented. And I didn't want to be a part of that crew. And my friend's like, you're crazy, that's the step to big success. I'm not doing this to have steps to big success. I'm doing this so I can feel good about who I am. And so I can look at my daughter someday and say, are you proud of me?